Hey, it's Soul with another video, and I'm going to go over a bunch of add-ons that I think you should probably have by the time 7.3 comes out, and you know what, it's just around the corner. Now keep in mind that there's a good chance that you already have one, maybe most of these add-ons. If you do, great. Or if you happen to take a look at this video and see, hey, you know what, there's a way better add-on that I could use instead of this and this, go ahead and leave a suggestion in a comment below. I want to point out though that while there are some really fantastic all-in-one add-ons, and by those I'm talking about DynamicCam or LVY, for the most part I'm taking the approach of going for different separate add-ons. There are occasions where those add-ons don't work, and because of that you lose functionality of most of the modules inside. That said, I will leave a link for DynamicCam as well as LVY, because they are good add-ons and they're great for beginners to jump into if they want to have basically a full solution that'll take care of a whole bunch of stuff and radically change their gameplay. Otherwise, if you're someone like me that wants to explore a little bit and see what else is out there, well, let's just get right to it. First, let's get to what you're immediately seeing on screen. First, there's Pitbull unit frames. I have this configured in a very specific way. My personal resource, my target, and my target of target is kind of cramped up in that one small space right under my character. Right below it is Dominos, a bar add-on. This of course lets me move buttons and hotkeys the way that I want to. I also have additional buttons to the side. This gives me the flexibility of having a bunch of buttons on screen without really seeing them on screen. You can see that the tooltip for Lavish Serum Marfis are right next to my mouse. This is thanks to TipTac, where I just have tooltips anchored to my mouse. Speaking of mice, this little glowing thing that you see right over here, this is an add-on called CursorTrail. There are certain people like me that get kind of distracted or just kind of get blindsided by all the different effects and craziness that goes on during a raid encounter. CursorTrail does the job much better than Star Cursor, which is what I featured in an earlier video. By default though, you get this kind of long and somewhat annoying trail. One thing you can do, you can at least turn this off and have it show up only in combat. You could also change your default options or adjust the settings accordingly. Skada up here is what I use for my damage meters, at least for now. These days my raid team has been nagging me about details, which they find to be a more accurate damage meter. Tucked here on the side is Decursive, which I still happen to use. It's pretty simple, left click to cleanse, and you're done. So let's start opening stuff up, and we'll start with Bagnon. In my last add-on feature I used Addy Bags, and I found that to be a pretty good add-on, but at the same time a bit unrefined, and I did run into some problems, mostly having to do with acquiring new items, as well as using them. Whenever I would add a new item type into my inventory, for example artifact power, it would cause the bag UI to get a little bit confused. It wouldn't really know where to put the items, and sometimes it would take a while for these items to show up, and the groups would show up in different areas, and it was just getting kind of frustrating. So I've come back to Bagnon, and I'm totally fine with it, except for the fact that I wasn't able to show item level, but now I can. With the module, I'm able to see item level clearly on the gear. That way I can render all the crap, like this 745 that I should have gotten rid of. I'll make a note of that later. Unity Alt Manager is a new add-on. It's pretty lightweight and it just shows some simple data whenever I need to pull it up. Typing in /UAM will pull up this, well, it's a kind of a tiny UI, but it shows all the information that I care about. What keystone do I have? What's the highest dungeon that I completed? How many seals do I have, or do I need to buy any? It also shows information for any raids or dungeons that I was in. Although, like I said, this add-on is really new, I don't quite get what Tumasar Gear's 3H-2L means. But as an alternative to something more robust or kind of heavy like Alcoholic, something like this works just fine. All the things, it's a collector's add-on that's either like God's gift or it's an absolute nightmare. This thing will literally track everything that I've ever collected or not collected. Using something like this, when I go into a zone, it'll tell me literally what pets have I not collected, what rares did I not kill, what kinds of rare drops or treasures did I miss, all of that stuff. So considering some of these numbers, like for example the fact that I've only earned 19% of all the things that I can get from dungeons and raids on this particular toon, this is kind of a discouraging add-on. But at the same time it's cool because it'll show me what to get and where to get it from. Even cooler is that this is automatically configured for your armor type. So even though things like pets and mounts are now account bound, I've still got a very long way to go. So if you run into someone who says that they've run out of things to do and that there's no content in the game, see if you can get them into collecting stuff, and then give them this add-on, and then buy them a couple drinks, because this was a cruel thing you did to them. As you can see, the angle of my character is a little bit off, it's not in the center of the screen, and that's all thanks to an add-on called DynamicCam. With the right settings you can pull off a whole Gears of War kind of feel, but that's not really my flavor. I just like having my character a little bit off center so I can get a better view of stuff, especially large bosses that I would otherwise have a hard time seeing. So let's get to moving around, and something that we're immediately seeing is NPCSCAN. Now we are going to Argus and we're going to encounter lots of brand new snazzy things, including new rare mobs. NPCSCAN is probably going to be useful for you. You can see here that there's a very annoying artifact power token right in the middle of the screen. This is an add-on called Artifact Power User, which just prominently displays artifact power anywhere you want. This basically stores all of your artifact power into this one button that you can put wherever you want on your screen. I just happen to have it in the middle so it'll annoy the crap out of me, and I will use it immediately. Jumping back into combat here, I'm using a newer nameplate called Kui Nameplates. Well, maybe it's not that new, but it's something that I newly discovered thanks to one of the viewers. In my opinion, it looks pretty good. I mean, it looks pretty clean. I mean, really, I guess it's just kind of a flavor thing, whether or not I prefer this over something that I'm used to, such as tidy plates. That's something that I used for a good while. It worked just fine, and well, so does this. But if you're interested in a different look, well, go ahead and give Kui Nameplates a try. You also see that my big old shield is glowing over there. Normally that's not what my Grand Crusader looks like, but this is the one use that I use for Weakauras. For the most part, I've disabled a lot of the use of Weakauras that I use it for, with the exception of this. This is really the only thing that matters to me. There's not a whole lot else that I track, because a good bunch of this work is being utilized with Pitbull unit frames. That really takes care of a lot of the work for me anyway. The damage numbers that you see here are a little unique. They're actually emanating from the nameplates and not from the mobs itself. This is nameplate scrolling combat text, and it is exactly how you see it. For a bit of a quality of life improvement, I use AutoLootPlus. It just makes it so that somehow, some way, looting is just really fast. You can also see right there I use talking head frame settings to move this portrait head thing over there to the side. I'm also using World Quest Tracker since it now has an included World Quest Group Finder type of tool. I still don't really use it except for maybe world bosses, but it does the job. And now back in my order hall, the last add-on to show off is Order Hall Commander. Over the course of 7.3, you're going to be spending a lot of time with your order hall yet again, powering up your champions again, buying new troops, and basically trying to get through the motions as quickly as possible. Ta-da! So that's pretty much what I have to show you. I wouldn't say that this is the complete list of success, and I wouldn't even say that these are the best add-ons of its kind. But this is where you can get started. Once again, if you have any other suggestions or praise, or if you're going to tell me that this video is dog shit, let me know in a comment below. Otherwise, get ready for 7.3 because it's going to be a hell of a ride. You guys have a good one, but support me the best way you know how. I'll see you guys later, and stay breezy.